The face shield, famously worn by Andy Reid in the 2020 season. Who can forget the opener when it fogged up? He needed like a windshield wiper on the inside. Intermittent cycle. Not the whole time, just once every few seconds. That is now on display at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. A very rare artifact that presumably will return to the possession at some point of Andy Reid. So that inspired, thanks to Pete Demolitis, who's very creative when it comes to these things, better him than me, a draft idea. The NFL artifact, specific item that we would want to own. This can go in a lot of different directions, and I have, not that the first pick really matters today because it's not like there's some obvious one out there, not that I can think of. Still, we have to do the trivia question. Chris, who is the only Pro Football Hall of Famer to wear jersey number 00?
Oh, man. I don't think I do know this one. Hold on.
Womp, womp, womp.
Go ahead. I don't know this.
Jim Otto, Raiders center.
Oh.
Jim Otto.
I wouldn't have been able to think of that. I would not. That did not register in my brain. So I'm off on that one. Go ahead. You get the first pick. Not a historian today.
The last guy that I remember wearing 00 in the NFL was Ken Burrow of the then Houston Oilers. That was before your time. But I had a jersey. It wasn't a Burrow jersey, but it was a football jersey like those generic ones that you could buy at Sears.
Yeah.
And it was 00. And I was proud of it. So it was like casual day at school once because we had to wear a uniform. It was a Catholic school. So I wore my 00 jersey, and I was very proud of it. And somebody said to me, "Oh, is that your IQ?" And the 00 jersey was never worn again.
Yes.
So
yes.
that was the end. The 00 jersey, Pete, is long, long gone. All right, first item that I would like to have in my personal collection. I got to start with the first thing I thought of last night. Now, let me go full transparency. There's one thing that I thought of last night that I forget now.
Oh.
And there's another one that I thought of last night that I was afraid I would forget, but I remember. So I'm going to go with the one that I remember, obviously. The Fresca bottle next to Len Dawson in that iconic photo of him smoking at halftime of the first Super Bowl. Somewhere in a landfill in Southern California resides that Fresca bottle. I want that Fresca bottle.
That
amazing. Would be the ultimate thing to have. There it is, old school Fresca bottle on the floor, folding chair, cigarette, Len Dawson. I want that Fresca bottle.
Oh my gosh, look at that! And then I think I'd rather have the cigarette butt. Let's get that. That's amazing. I mean, it really is to think that they were smoking cigarettes, and it's so funny too because there was a sense that smoking cigarettes would open up your lungs at that time, and it became like a thing. Like that was crazy, but that's a good one. Very creative by you. Very creative. Ultimate. I mean, that picture itself, if you could get that signed by Len Dawson, would be something I'd put in my house. So good one to start off there. The first thing that popped in my head, Tom Landry's hat. I want Tom Landry's hat in my showcase. I mean, I don't know. Is there really a piece of clothing that signifies anybody more in the history of the NFL than that hat? I mean, I grew up in, the 80s and Big Phil was playing the Dallas Cowboys. And, of course, his silhouette is just stained in my brain forever, let alone being, one of the greatest coaches of all time. He came from the New York Giants and all that. So that would be the first thing that I would take.
My dad was of the generation that wore fedoras. We had a couple of fedoras in the house with the big hat box.
Love it.
Came in. The hat box was so cool. It was this giant box. You open it up, and there's the hat that smelled like Dad. Not in a bad way. It just you know what I mean? You wear it all the time.
Yeah.
It starts to smell like Dad.
Right.
Tom Landry talked about wearing a cowboy hat when he became the coach of the Cowboys. His wife, who passed away not that long ago, said, wear a fedora, and that was it. She also apparently had to roll in the star on the side of the helmet, so huge influence by
I didn't know that.
Mrs. Landry. Next one for me, and this is another old school one, but this is an item that has always fascinated me for a variety of reasons. But Bob Griese playing football with glasses on. Not the John Jefferson, action
like
frame.
real glasses.
With actual glasses. I want a pair of those glasses and say, yeah, there's a guy that actually played football wearing glasses like you'd wear, to read the newspaper in the morning while you're drinking your coffee.
Yeah, that shot right there. That's hilarious. First off, that really is. I mean, how does how do you not hit him in the face when he's wearing glasses like that? I mean, especially in that day and age, they were like, that was like commonplace, an elbow into your face or something like that.
But that was the old line. That was one of the first lines that I learned. One of the first rules of etiquette I learned from watching cartoons. You wouldn't hit a guy who wears glasses. So maybe football players stopped short. Maybe that was his protection, wearing the glasses, because that was the rule. You didn't hit a guy who wore glasses.
I feel like, I mean, a lot of mine are old too. I don't know. Again, it's like I'd love to have Brady's Super Bowl 51 MVP trophy. Like something like that. Like I'd love that. It's not my choice, but I'm going back to the old days too here again. I would love to have Johnny Unitas's helmet from the 1958 NFL championship game. That would, I mean,
that is very specific.
But you know, that's the game that put the NFL on the map, right? I mean, the iconic picture, you know, of the Colts running back running through the middle there at Yankee Stadium and Johnny Hughes in the background. You know, Alan Amici, yes, thank you, Pete, for saving me there. But Johnny Unitas, of course, was the original Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, whatever you want to say. He was that guy. To me, that will always be etched in my brain when I think of the history of football.
I keep thinking of more that I would want. Like I would want the Jim McMahon headband that had Roselle written on it.
I had a headband
fine
from Jim McMahon. From Jim McMahon.
There you go.
It didn't say Roselle.
Was that when you were out in the hall throwing the tennis ball at the wall outside of his room?
In the Pro Bowl.
Is that when you got it?
Right,
yeah.
Right. I'm at the Pro Bowl, and I'm bored. I'm 6.5. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, you know? And I'm sitting out in the hallway. My parents probably like, get out of the room, go do something. So I'm in the hallway. Who knows what they were doing in the room? But either way, I'm throwing the ball against the wall, and all of a sudden Jim McMahon comes out, and he's like, what the hell's going on out here? And, you know, of course, I look just like my dad, and I think he put 2 and 2 together pretty quickly. But he came out and gave me one of the headbands, and that was like, couldn't be cooler. What's making you laugh there?
Christopher, go play in the hallway. I just need 15 minutes.
Dirty Diana and Big Phil getting after
it. Next one for me. This is one you'll like. You'll like this one. Because I remember noticing this from the moment that I got the issue of Sports Illustrated, early 1991. Everson Walls on the cover, Super Bowl 25 victory, with the yellow wristband that was in honor of the troops because the first Iraq war had started. There it is, the yellow wristband. I want that yellow wristband.
Yeah, man, that is you're great. You got really creative. That was, you know, of course I was there. That was very special. But are you still laughing at me?
I'm just still thinking about you. All right, you got one more pick.
All right, I'm gonna go with the fur coat. I mean, I got to go with the fur coat of Joe Namath. It's just another one that's, come on.
Wait, the one he wore when he upstaged your dad at Super Bowl 48?
Either one. I'll take either one. Oh, there it is. There it is. Look at that guy. That's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Look at Big Phil trying it on. I mean, first off, it's Broadway Joe. He's one of the first, like, real commercial superstars in the history of the NFL. That story right there is hilarious because he sandbagged my dad, really. He wanted to make sure my dad was going to dress real, you know, conservative and normal. Are you just going to wear a blazer? Yeah, blazer. Okay, Phil, all right, I'll wear a blazer too. And he showed up in that. And then, if you remember this too, remember when he flipped the coin before the game, before they told him to flip it? He just flipped it in the air when he was ready, and they had to tell him to stop, and he had to do it over. Joe Willie, one of the greatest personalities in the history of the NFL.
Can we cycle back through the photos? Because there's one specific one. I think it's the next one. Was this the look on your dad's face right there when he asked you to go out in the hallway for 15 minutes?
Yeah, might have been.
All right.
I'm going to hear about this from my parents.
Good. Aunt Wendy's probably already texting you. The other, I had a couple others. I want the water bottle that Randy Moss used when he sprayed the official in the playoff loss to the greatest show-offs on turf in 1999. I want that water bottle.
Oh, that's a really good one.
There it is.
Oh, my gosh.
Well done.
That's amazing. Randy Moss is amazing. How about the I would love to have the Vince Lombardi trench coat, right, that you see him on and like that he would wear. That to me, wow, that's another thing that's to me goes almost like with the fedora of Tom Landry. And the Earl Campbell tearaway jersey. That was another one that I would go, that was amazing. I mean, just one of the greatest players of all time, one of the 5-6 best running backs in the history of the sport that I feel like never really gets mentioned in those, conversations, but pretty cool. That's amazing.
The last one I would want, the Jeff Hostetler shoes into which a 10-year-old Christopher David Simms sprayed shaving cream.
Special.
That would
Very
be awesome.
special.
With the can of Barbasol right next to it so you can explain it. What's the best thing you currently have? I'm sure you've got something good. What's the best thing you have?
Yeah, man, I do have a Brady autographed helmet that's very special to me. I got a Troy Aikman autographed helmet. I got some cool things that were really signed to my dad. Like he has like some autographs that Joe Montana wrote like a personal note on there. They're really funny. I'm not going to say them live here on TV, but those are some of the cool things that we got around our house.
I got two things down in the barn that are very, very special to me. One is my dad's old croupier stick. He used to deal dice back in the day, and that croupier stick has got to be 100 years old, and it is awesome. It's mounted on the wall. And the other thing that I have, and I can't say who it is, but there was a time when an NFL head coach, in advance of a big game, a Sunday night football game at some point over the past decade, had a play that he was going to use, and he wrote it up. He said, I'm going to use this, and it's going to work, and he mailed it to me, and he used it, and it worked, and it scored a touchdown.
I know.
So,
you've told me the story, but yeah,
I've got it in a case down there, and I'm always afraid it's going to walk away.
It's amazing.
I'm always afraid it's going to disappear. I need to lock it up or something.
And he stole it from another team, if I remember right.
Yes.
And then I'm doing it this week, and it'll work.
And he called a shot. It's going to work.
Right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.